What up guys, Metro Taku Gamer here, back at it again with another video. And 2024 is about to come to an end. And I beat a bunch of games this year, but there's still quite a bit that are on my backlog that, even though I did spend some time with them this year and in previous years, I just have set them off to the side. I never really got around to beating them. So for 2025, I've selected several JRPGs that I plan to beat from my backlog in 2025. And that's what this video is going to be all about. I'm going to share with you guys some JRPGs that I have already spent quite a bit of time and that I plan on finishing in 2025 so I can get them out of my backlog. Now, RPGs are my favorite genre, so that's why I've chosen RPGs for this video, but there's other games outside of the genre that I still have yet to finish, and who knows, I might make a follow-up video next month in the early 2025 going over those games as well. If that's something you guys do want to see, you can let me know by leaving a comment in the comment section below. So let's get started with some JRPGs for 2025 that are in my backlog that I really want to finish. And if you guys like this video, you can let me know by smashing that like button. It will really help me out with the YouTube algorithm. And you can subscribe as I'm getting close to 500 subscribers. So let's begin with Visions of Mana, which is one of the greatest games to come out in 2024. This is a great return to the Mana series. There hasn't been a Mana game, like a mainline Mana game, in over 15 years, I believe. And this game just looks absolutely beautiful. You play as Val, who is a soul guard, as he is leading a group of alms, which are these, like, I don't really know how to say the alms. They're kind of like selected people based off of the different elements. You got fire, moon, wind, earth, and water, and I think also darkness and light alms as well. And you're leading them as they are on a journey to restore the world of Mana by visiting the Mana tree. And it's an action RPG, so you do have real-time combat, and you can switch up the different classes between the characters as well, using the different elemental gifts to unlock new abilities and new classes. And overall, I've really enjoyed my time with Visions of Mana. I think I'm about halfway through the game. I'm really enjoying it, and I hope to beat it in 2025. I could have beaten it this year in 2024, but I just really ended up like pushing it off to the side. It's still a really great game. It's one of my favorite games to have come out this year, but next year will definitely be the year that I finish this game. I'm gonna make it my goal for this to be the first game that I beat in 2025. It's a really fun, beautiful looking game with an amazing soundtrack. I'm enjoying the combat, and the story is really interesting. And overall, Visions of Mana is such a great game. I just wish I had put more time into it this year. And who knows, it could have been one of my favorite games, like one of my top 3 favorite games of this year, but I just didn't really put a lot of time into it. Now next up, I got Persona 4 Golden. Now this game is going to be a huge time sink, at least 100 hours. It's going to take me a long time to make my way through this game. Persona 4 Golden is one of the best games to have come out in a long time. I love the cast of characters, some of my favorite being Chie. I like Kanji and Teddy. Teddy's one of my favorite mascot characters in the entire Persona series. I like him a lot more than Morgana from Persona 5. Morgana was just extremely annoying, but I really love the story. I love the small town vibes of going through Inaba and going into the TV world to go through the dungeons and fighting the shadows and rescuing your friends and just discovering who the mysterious killer is in Persona 4. It's such an amazing game, and 2025 will hopefully be the year that I actually beat this game, because I started playing it on the PS2 and now I got it on the PlayStation Vita. So I'm really looking forward to making my way through Persona 4 Golden next year. And then next up, I chose Phantasy Star Universe. This is another game that I've spent quite a lot of time in. I am well over halfway through. I probably have like 4 more chapters left to get through the story. And this game, as fun as it is, I really do enjoy it. What really just takes a lot of, like, how can I say it? What really kind of makes me not want to put a whole lot of effort into beating this game is that the dungeons are just extremely long, and then you just wind up running out of healing items and having to do a lot of backtracking. But don't get me wrong, this game still is really fun, and I feel like it is one of the most highly underrated RPGs on the PlayStation 2. And as much as I love this game, I don't really talk about it that much. But I did want to include it here in this video on games that are in my backlog that I want to beat next year, and I do hope to put this into my PlayStation 2 and just make my way through the end of it, because it is a pretty great game. It does deserve a lot more attention than it gets, especially for myself. And I even have Phantasy Star Portable on the PSP, which is a continuation of the story of Phantasy Star Universe, and it's also a series of Phantasy Star games that I would love to see get ported to modern consoles as well, but I'll save that for another day, for a different video. So Phantasy Star Universe is on my list of games that I really want to beat out of my backlog. It's a fun sci-fi action RPG where you play as a character named Ethan Wabber, who joins a group of guardians who are having to defend the universe from these aliens called the Seed. And you also have the Androm Collective that are like some of the other antagonists of the game that you have to fight against, and you just go on missions. So next up, I chose Front Mission 4. This is another really great PS2 RPG that I don't really talk a whole lot about. It's a mech-based tactical RPG. You get to create your own Vanzers, and the story kind of takes place from 2 different perspectives. You have this one group. I'm not too familiar with the character names, but you have this like one group that's like over in like Europe, and then you have another group that's over in South America, and you kind of jump back between them as you're taking on missions and finding out about political corruption and all that. And there's giant robots, and you're taking on these tactical battles where you get to control your own squad of mechs that you do get to customize with different weapons, armor, and other equipment, and you're just kicking ass and blowing shit up. So yeah, I don't really know what else I could say about Front Mission 4 other than it's just a really great game. I'm about halfway through the game. I haven't played it in a long while, but I just recently got a CIB copy from a friend of mine after not really having it in my collection for a while, so I'm looking forward to getting back into Front Mission 4. It's one of my favorite strategy RPGs out there, and I love the mech customization. It's almost on the same level as like Armored Core, And you can also like change the colors of your mechs. You can equip them with like machine guns, missiles, shotguns, melee weapons, all sorts of different armor, weapons, and equipment, and it's really fun. And I really like that gets me to think quite a bit. And speaking of mechs, the final game that I chose that I really want to beat for my backlog in 2025 is Xenosaga Episode 3. This is a really great turn-based RPG, and it's the final part of the Xenosaga trilogy. A very amazing, story-driven, lore-heavy, awesome sci-fi RPG series. And it's the spiritual successor to Xenogears, the spiritual predecessor to Xenoblade. They're all kind of connected. There's a lot of religious themes. You get to pilot giant robots and kick all sorts of ass. And you have some of my favorite characters in old gaming, with Cosmos and Shion being the main protagonists. And I really am loving Xenosaga Episode 3. It got me hooked from the very beginning. This was a really great kind of semi-return to form after Episode 2 not looking so great in the art style department, and even the combat wasn't all that great. This is more fast-paced, and I just really like it. And I do love the mech designs in this game. Piloting the ES units in combat is really fun. And I also really like the soundtrack, and I can't wait to finish the epic conclusion to the Xenosaga trilogy next year in 2025. I would have focused more on this game, but I ended up choosing Wild Arms 5 over this game, and I really do love both Wild Arms 5 and Xenosaga Episode 3. They are some amazing turn-based RPGs. So this is one game that I really can't wait to finish next year. And when I do, I will be doing a special video covering the whole Xeno franchise, as I really love it. Now, the only game out of the Xeno franchise I actually haven't really played much of is Xenogears, as well as Xenoblade Chronicles X, but luckily that game's coming out next year on the Nintendo Switch. I'm talking about Xenoblade X, not Xenogears. Would love to get that on modern consoles as well. But right now, Xenosaga Episode 3 is my number one top priority for my backlog in 2025 when it comes to RPGs. So with that, that is going to be it. That is 5 great JRPGs that I've chosen out of my backlog, and there's so many more. Like, I have some other games like Monster Hunter World, Horizon Zero Dawn, Odin Sphere, Dark Cloud, other Wild Arms games that I haven't even finished. Just so many great games that are in my backlog, but those 5 that I have chosen, those are the ones that I really want to focus on for next year. Starting with Visions of Mana, and then I might jump back into Xenosaga Episode 3. Who knows, but you'll definitely hear me talking about beating those games in 2025. I will be doing something in regards to when I finish those games. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. So that's going to be it for this video. I am Mecha Otaku Gamer. I will see you guys in the next video. Signing out.